And we welcome you back. It's been a story of report card after report card, but the long-awaited report from the general with the Roman soldier-sounding name has moved the conversation on Iraq once again. But has he moved the men whose blood and whose spirit has been truly consumed by this war? That's the part we want to get to right now. Joining me now, 3 Iraq War veterans. Paul Rykov, founder of the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. By the way, he's also written a book that's called Chasing Ghosts, Failures and Facades in Iraq. This is a soldier's perspective. Also with me is Marine Corporal Mark Finelli, who's not only an Iraq War veteran, he's also a 9/11 survivor. And Major Paul Hackett's good enough to join us. He's a member of the Marine Corps Reserve, and he's a former Democratic congressional candidate as well. Gentlemen, our thanks to you for your service, first of all.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here. Mark, after hearing what you heard today, is it proper to continue this fight, to continue losing our best and our bravest? Did this general make the argument that we should continue to do that?
Well, he certainly did. One thing we have to continue to understand is the most important objective that we have here is maintaining our geopolitical advantage of being in Iraq. Certainly, things have gotten better. I don't just know that from listening to the general speak today. I know it from my friends who are emailing me. If I remember right briefly before I got out of the Marine Corps for 3 or 4, roughly 5 months ago, you saw a horrible bombing within Baghdad every single day almost. 50 people, 100 people dead, innocent civilians. You rarely see that in Baghdad right now.
But
it still happens.
To what end? Where are we going with this?
We're going with this to maintain our geopolitical advantage of being in Iraq.
Geopolitical advantage in the region. That's where we're going with this right now.
That's what's kept us safe for 5 years, 364 days, and 20 hours and 25 minutes.
Paul Hackett, let me bring you into this conversation. I heard a Congressman Abercrombie say today, it's going to end up with us cutting oil deals. Not the Iraqis cutting their own oil deals, but we will be cutting their oil deals. I also heard today the general refer to Iraq being a client state of the United States from a military weapons standpoint. These things trouble you.
Well, here's the problem. First of all, the surge, which is really an escalation that got us back to troop strength where we were at the beginning of our invasion. What we've done is, if you can picture a water balloon, and you take a water balloon and you squeeze it in the middle, and the water goes off to the sides. Well, imagine the middle is currently Baghdad. So sure, Baghdad looks safer, but overall, the country is not safer. We've not led Iraq to a better place than it was a year ago, 2 years, 3 years ago. We still only have an hour or 2 of electricity in Baghdad. The infrastructure is deteriorating. And ultimately, the problem is that this escalation, this temporary surge, is an ad hoc temporary solution that is not dovetailed into a grander plan, a more comprehensive strategy, a strategy that's never been articulated in this war, that will lead us to, most importantly, maintaining our interests in that region and stabilizing the region.
Let's wrap it up, though, Paul. In 20 seconds, what is that strategy? You say we've never attempted.
Well, it's never been articulated. It's never been articulated by our political leadership. I don't think anybody wants to hear my strategy. I think ultimately, though, we are going to maintain a presence in order to keep Syria and Iran out of the Iraqi borders and to act as a quick reaction force in the region to make sure that it doesn't further deteriorate. But I have not heard that discussion.
Paul Rykov,
Go Rykov.
Let me bring you into this, because I think this is an interesting part of the discussion. Because I'm hearing from some people who are saying maybe what Mr. Hackett is saying is that we probably at the very beginning should have relied less on bombs and bullets and relied more on ideas. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think they can complement each other, and there's a bigger piece that we haven't addressed. Ambassador Crocker testified today, too, and that's what's getting lost in the media today. PETRAEUS laid out the security plan and the military strategy and how there are military successes in part of the country, and I think that's true. But the larger mission for the surge was to create the space for political reconciliation, and that hasn't happened.
Right.
Crocker delivered an even more abysmal report about the total lack of political progress that's happened.
Well,
so even if we win every single military battle, if there isn't political progress, we're not winning. We're not moving forward.
Let me tell you something al-Maliki said just yesterday, quoted, I believe, in the Washington Post. He said the troops, our Iraqi troops, are not ready now and probably won't be ready for quite some time.
I agree 100% with that.
No doubt about it.
I mean, we all talk about when the Iraqis stand up. Well, what if they don't? In my experience, they were very slow. It was very difficult training them when I was on the ground in Baghdad, and we need to plan for the worst course of action.
Maybe they don't want to stand up. Maybe it's just not here.
Part of
Is it
there
possible?
There may be.
Paul
Either way,
Go
we've got a
ahead.
plan for
Shoot.
both.
Well, I was going to say, part of the problem is we're holding them to American standards, number one. And we're neglecting to realize that within those borders, there is a cadre of people that managed to militarily support that country before we became involved in the country.
But
they're there, and when we leave, they're going to take care of it.
We certainly hope so. 5 years into it, you get the last word down to about 10 seconds. Go ahead.
The last word is on September 12th of 2001, the American people asked the United States military to protect them, to keep them safe, to keep no terrorist attacks happening from here. We've done that. Now I'm asking the American people to continue
You
to
think Iraq is the right place to do that?
Yeah, but Mark, the only problem with that statement, Mark, though, is 9/11 had nothing to do with Iraq.
It's what's keeping us safe. I can't get into it now, but I'm more than happy to do it.
You can't objectively support that.
We'll have you all back.
I've written
Thanks so
extensively
much.
about it. Please look into it.
We'll have you all back. We
Iraq.
enjoy the conversation. Thank you very much. 3 soldiers.